Hi everyone, welcome to a new devlog. In this episode, we'll see the new changes I made in combat design and the frustrating result of bringing a custom character to the engine. So let's get started. Because my game is in a very prototype phase, it's not visually appealing, making it very difficult for people to like it or be interested in it unless they are other game devs. For this reason, I started to create models that would replace the placeholders. I decided to start with the main character. Working with the models helps to develop the game's graphic style, which is also very important, apart from the mechanics. First, since I left my career as a web developer a few years ago, I've been working as a freelance 3D artist. I've created many characters for other indie studios, and I'm familiar with the pipeline from 3D to the game engine, so this is not a new thing for me. As always, I started in Blender to create my character, from sculpting to modeling and creating accessories, clothes, and weapons. Once I'm satisfied with the model, I go to Substance Painter to make the textures. And when they are ready, I jump into Unreal to create the materials and see how the character looks in the game engine, in case I need to make some adjustments. When I'm happy with the result, I do the rigging and import the model into the development environment. And that's when I realized that the character I made looks and moves, let's be honest, like shit. I started noticing the errors. The details were lost, the character deformed badly, and the animations didn't look good. This was partly due to the rigging and the anatomical differences between my character and the UE mannequin. I've tried to solve the problems by redoing the rigging and adjusting the weight painting, but I haven't had any success. For rigging, I used AutoRig Pro in Blender, and the add-on works very well, so I can blame the tool. Rigging and animation are my areas of expertise. Being a single dev with economic constraints, I have two options: learn and improve my skills as a rigger, or modify my characters based on the limitations of the tools I use. In this case, ILS. I've done some tests with a character anatomically similar to the Animan, and everything looks and feels much better. So I will redesign my character to be anatomically more alike, even if that means making it a bit more stylized to fit better with that less realistic anatomy. I guess in game dev, when you are a solo dev, you need to choose between adapting the game to your limitations or adapting your skills to the project. For this one, I chose the first option. I'll keep you posted on my results on the new character. On the other hand, I made some significant changes to the combat design. I've added the perfect block and critical hit, both attributes that can be upgraded when you find or buy better weapons. When we block an attack, we have a chance to make a perfect block. If our chance is, let's say, 10%, every time we block, we choose a number between 0 and 100. If it's less than 10, it's successful, and the attacker performs a knockback animation, which makes him physically move away from us, giving us time to react while the attacker is still recovering. The critical hit works similarly. It's a percentage that is executed every time we attack. When it's successful, the victim plays a stun animation, giving us time to attack again. This is the perfect scenario to introduce the finishers, but this is content for a future devlog. Both attributes work the same way on the player and the enemies, which enriches and adds more variety and dynamism to the combat. On the other hand, I've noticed that the combat feels much better when space is created between characters. To achieve that, I've changed the hit animations for root motion animations that separate the characters. And on top of that, when the player attacks, the enemy gets pushed a distance away from us in the direction of the attack. This has some advantages. First, the combat is more satisfying because our attacks feel more powerful with a more significant impact. Second, we get better feedback on what is happening. And lastly, the combat is more dynamic, as the characters are constantly moving and readjusting positions. When the enemy or the player receives an attack, I apply a rotation so that the victim is oriented toward the attacker. This may seem like a cheap trick, but when we see it live, it's very subtle and makes the combat feel better and more natural. And that was all the progress since the last episode. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you like this content, you can subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and see you in the next devlog.